All right, my friends, welcome to another Wake Up Humans. We got Drew Henderson here again. What's up, Big Papa? How are you,
What's
brother?
what's up, Mother Load? I'm awesome, man. It's just finished up at the office and it's been a great day. It's been a great day.
Awesome. Awesome.
Love it. How about you?
Can't imagine doing anything else, man.
Man, this is what we're called to do. This is what we have been touched and said, hey, go do this, go take care of these people, and that's what we do.
This week I'm in Florida, which is our newest practice, right? And it's a whole different world than when I'm up at JFC. JFC's, I mean, what, 23 years running?
Mhm. Yeah,
And that's a machine, bro. I mean, that thing is pumping. And then you've got these brand new people coming in down here for the first time. It's brand new energy. It's wild. It's fun. It's fun. It's like little times I'm pulling my hair out. I'm like, let's go, man. Where are the people? Let's go.
yeah.
But it's
And
pretty wild.
and I'm sure a lot of it is just that tension of like 23 years of consistent care for people, and then people walking in kind of bright-eyed, bushy-tail on this hand to be
Yeah.
like, what's this place about? We heard about it, and your energy's got to change too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we had to start somewhere at JFC. And when you're at JFC, like I said, it's just, hundreds of people walking in a day. And then, just people, their friends being referred in. It's just go time. Here, it's like basics. Like, let's go. Now let's get some referrals. And it's funny to see it growing every week. It's pretty wild.
Yeah. And I would say give it to the end of, I don't know, maybe 2028. It will probably be bigger than JFC Connecticut.
Say that again.
Give it to the end of 2028,
Right.
and it'll probably be bigger than JFC Connecticut.
Ha, let's hope not, man. JFC's my baby, bro.
I know, but Florida is a hot spot though, dude.
It is.
Everybody's moving to Florida. Look at y'all.
It really is.
Everybody's there. And
Yeah, it's true, man. I mean, listen, I have a gentleman I think I want to bring on the podcast. And me and your our pregame show today, when we were talking about what possibly to talk about, I was thinking of that quote that we use in chiropractic that BJ talks about. You never know how far reaching something you think, say, or do today will affect the lives of countless millions tomorrow, right?
yeah, man, that's it.
And there's a couple months ago, this woman started coming in and at I don't know if it was the Chamber of Commerce or an event in town. We donated a Wake Up Humans book, and she won it, and she read it, and it made her come in. And now her husband comes in, and it was one of those things, just by chance, right? Just
Yeah.
by chance. And today I got to meet him, and we had a talk for about 40 minutes that, rocked my world like nothing by chance. And his story is awesome. I mean, in high
Hmm.
school, he was living in his car, and his a gentleman that where he used to walk somewhere, and the guy would always invite him to a youth group.
Hmm.
And then finally one day the guy was talking to him. He said, "And we have pizza," and he was starving, so he went there for the pizza, and he ended up getting saved that day, and it changed the entire course of his life. And it just made me think, you never know by what you say to someone today what's going to pop up tomorrow.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be um, something profound. It's like, hey, we've got pizza.
That's all it was. He said it was
We've
the
got pizza.
yeah,
You know, it's not, he didn't give some epiphany like, hey, listen, this is what you need to do to turn it like, no, he's like, bro, we got pizza. Come eat.
right,
you
right.
know and and that's the power of that. Like um years ago, I was probably been open less than a year, a few months. This one guy came in like one visit, but then he referred this other young woman. Leanne came in. I bet Leanne has, and she still comes in like at least once a week, make sure she's clear. Um, but Leanne probably referred 50 people to us, you
Wow.
know, and then those 50 have probably referred another 75 together. It just compounds, man. Like that's the power of like one small single voice.
Well, that's what we teach our patients, is we need help on this mission to try to help people.
Hmm.
Tell your friends. You never know what you say to someone is going to get them to say, let me check it out. And that's how we grew JFC. I mean, the boys just did a spinal screening this past weekend. They did one. They ended up with one new patient. They talked to a bunch of people. And 2 weeks ago, they did one and they ended up with 26 people.
Hmm.
And when I was in there meeting the 26 people that were coming in, I said, look, we've never done this. We've never done these screenings and stuff. It was never my thing. But it's like the disciples going out sharing the message. And this woman said, I was going to walk by the booth, but then something inside me told me to go talk to them because I've been looking for help.
Hmm.
And I'm like, well, that's what it's all about. I said, if they
Yeah.
went to that fair and ended up with just you, it made it worthwhile.
Yeah. Yeah. Just one. And I'm not equating us to Jesus at all. Like we will
No.
never be even close to that. But just like he will leave the 99 to go after the one.
Yeah.
We'll stand at the carnival and the fair and the festival all day long to get that one that it can change their life.
This is why, doing an orientation, I think, is one of the most powerful things that someone could do. And because they hear the story, they hear your voice, they hear your why. And that's something that we really have to work on is what is our why? Why are we doing this? And when people
Yep.
hear that, and then the expectation that we need help reaching more people, AKA referrals, it gives them, a rally cry to help us out and talk to people because we really want to make a difference in the world.
Yeah. And so many patients, and you've seen them too, say, if I was younger, I would go to chiropractic school. This is awesome. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, we can still work together. Like,
Right.
like bring us people and we will take care of the people you bring us.
They could have a
You know?
major impact on the community, let alone their family by
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah. And even just like these things that we're doing, these podcasts and videos and memes and posts, it's just to reach people,
Right.
you know. It's just to reach people. That's all it is to reach people. And you probably remember James Tomasic. Did you ever meet him?
Yeah.
Chiropractor, or he wasn't a chiropractor. He was an advocate. He
Yeah.
uh he had trigeminal neuralgia. He heard on the radio show and he was going to kill himself. It was so bad. He was going to
Wow.
off himself. And he heard on the radio that there's help for that. So he went to the chiropractor. The name of his, and he didn't obviously hurt himself because he got better. But the name of his book was called What Time Tuesday
Yep.
because he had made a plan and his wife made him the appointment and he was like, all right, well, what time is it Tuesday? Because he had already had his plan to take himself out. But going to that chiropractor saved his life. And now he travels the world preaching the truth about chiropractic.
Is he still around?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's, a little bit older now. Um, I think he's got to be in his 90s, but
Yeah.
at least,
I remember back in Cairo school, I think he might have come around life to speak. Powerful.
yeah,
I
yeah,
might as
powerful. And he was kidnapped in Vietnam, like after the war, because he was doing telecommunication stuff, kidnapped, black market. Um, but it's just that one voice that he got clear. He heard the message. Then he went out and told everybody else.
That's right. I mean, and just that's the power of, we joke around and say just tap that atlas and life changes because now they start living clear. I mean,
Hmm.
there's a prime example that if he didn't hear that message and show up on Tuesday, his life was over.
Yeah,
But now
yeah,
that he was living clear, he's made an entire mission to go and lead people to be, clear and go to the chiropractor.
yeah, yeah, thousands. And he had that direction. And chiropractors got to have that right direction of where they're going, their true north, the truth, the principle. because direction is more important than horsepower.
Yeah.
You can have tons of horsepower, but you're going the wrong direction.
That's a
You know,
great
you
point.
you got to get clear, man. You got to tell people the truth, no matter how awkward it is. I know it's not awkward for us, but I know for some new docs or people that may be um, not solidified around this principle that we have, it can kind of feel awkward, but it's really not when it's the truth and it's coming from your heart, man.
And that's the thing I don't get. What's awkward? Like these
Yeah,
young chiropractors that, and not just young, anyone that just wants to either treat a disease or just try to build a practice for profit. That's got to be a shallow life. Like,
yeah,
it's not easy being in practice in these days that you got to be on a mission, otherwise you're not going to want to show up. And I've had many young guys that in practice 3 to 4 years that want to quit. And then we work together and we find a bigger purpose and passion outside of themselves, and now they're excited. They're excited to show up and make a change for people.
yeah, yeah. And I know we've been in it 20 plus years, and I know Dynamic Essentials has transformed me and kept and not really kept the fire burning because it's been there. Even like first quarter in school, it's been there. But it let me know I wasn't alone in this fight. I'm not alone in the trenches. I've got I've got Anna in West Virginia. I've got Adam in New Jersey. I've got Greg in New York. I've got like everybody in California. It just we're in it together, man.
Listen, man, DE helped me find my voice.
Yeah.
Deep down inside of there, it was there. Kylie asked me a couple months ago, she said, Dad, what if you became a professional baseball player? And I said to her, you wouldn't be here today. Right. And then I think
Yeah.
Tammy said, well, you wouldn't have helped these hundreds of thousands of people either.
Hmm.
So much could quote unquote go wrong that
Yeah.
you never find your true path and you go down a different road. But
Yeah.
when you come across the right people, I showed up at DE and I heard Dr. Sid and Dr. Kale speak, and it changed my life. And then I got attached to Dr. Sigafus. It changed my entire life, man.
Hmm.
Those three guys,
Yeah.
it was like, I found things within myself and discovered a path that I never knew was there until they opened the door. And that was by showing up at DE.
Hmm.
I would go to seminars just to check them out, and it was about how to do it day one, how to do day two, how to collect more money, how to bill insurance, all this garbage. I'm like, I just want to see more people and take care of more people. How do I
Yeah.
serve more people?
Yeah. If you want to make more money, that's great. We need it. Just go take care of more people, serve more people, fill up the office. When that office is filled up, build another one,
Right.
fill that office up.
People can't underestimate what their value really is. And
Hmm.
especially as a chiropractor, the value that you could bring to somebody else's life by getting them
Yeah.
to a point of living clear. Like what the magnitude, and that's what students need to be discussing and arguing. And, we used to argue what innate intelligence was, universal intelligence, what really is a subluxation, what's the adjustment? Do we really do an adjustment, or is it the body doing the adjustment, or is it something working? There was all this stuff we would get into at 3 in the morning. We'd be just talking it down. That,
Hmm.
I was on the phone with someone the other night. He's an older chiropractor that was arguing with me about, what is really a straight chiropractor. I'm like, dude, I'm wasting my time talking to you. I've been through this. We
Yeah.
got bigger things to talk about now. Is about how to get more people. There's over 8 billion people on this freaking planet. How do we get more of them living clear?
Yep. Yep. And just like you were saying about value, me and Dr. Claudia talked about that today. But we have to value what we do. And I don't mean like based on your fees. I mean value like what we have in our hands
Mm,
that we can positively influence that person, their family, the community, the state, the nation, and the world. Like
that's right.
what are we doing?
Right.
You know, and I don't think a lot of these kids really debate like we used to in school. I talk to them and they're just like, yeah, like whatever.
Right.
when we would almost get in fist fights when we would be debating this stuff at 2 in the morning,
Yep.
and that's because we were so passionate about it,
Right.
just so passionate about it. And, talking about your voice, you've known me a long time. Um, at the beginning, I was pretty quiet. I didn't really say much of anything.
You were very quiet, bro. I remember
Yeah.
back when I started talking at DE and I would introduce you, I had to tell people no talking in the back of the room, lean forward and listen because you're going to drop bombs, but you talk so damn low. I'm like, everyone quiet and listen.
And I'm getting better. I've
Ooh,
got
you're
better
awesome.
over the time.
Well, your
You know,
message was always amazing. You just were so humble and quiet and just did your thing and you're dropping pearls of wisdom. Now you've learned to speak up a little bit, buddy.
yeah, and that's what you learn at DE. Like
Right.
if you can't speak up there, you surely can't when you're at the dollar store in Murrayville. You know,
Right.
you got to be able to speak up and say, tell the truth, tell it right, tell it in a way that somebody can understand it, so they can go tell everybody else.
Yeah,
You know, it's it's sweet and magical and special what we have.
it is. It is.
You know,
That's why we got to keep pouring into the students to help them find it, you know.
yeah,
One of the greatest books I read, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, he starts off
yeah,
by saying, you're going to find that one thing, what is needed to be successful in this book. You're going to
hmm
find it. He doesn't tell you what it is.
yeah.
People better go, what does he mean? What is it? That's that something.
It is. It's that something. It's that idea fixe.
Yeah.
Like what is that thing? You have
Hmm.
to have it.
Yep.
And if you have that something, if you have that something in you, if you have that something in the adjustment, that adjustment's going to hold longer.
Right.
That's and you know how it is. We're not bragging at all. That's why we have people, even chiropractors, drive 2 hours away, hour and 45 minutes away to come get adjusted.
Right.
It's not because we're so damn special.
Right.
We're not. We know what we know, and we deliver the goods, and then that's it.
Right.
You know. And I even try to talk to him a little when he comes, because I'm like, bro, like you're older, and he got to drive. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, how you doing, man?
Yeah.
Just because I, I don't know, and he don't really want to talk a whole lot, but I know he's got a lot of wisdom if he would just share it. He's
Right.
70 something, 75. His dad was up in his 90s, still practicing until he died a couple of years ago.
Yep.
Just old school practicing, man.
People come to watch, they come, it's funny when people come to watch, they want a shadow. And I've seen places where docs charge people to watch them practice. They'll put them behind like a one-way mirror and say, just stand there and watch me. I'm like, that's a pretty good idea, man.
Yeah,
I should have thought about that a long time ago. I would have made $1 million by just having people watch me. And I was never that smart. But they come in and watch you, and it's like that. I'm thinking there's not much to this. Hey, I got to get my charger. Hold on, my freaking computer's subluxated. It's running low.
yep. Take your time.
It's funny, Drew, that you still there.
Yep, yep.
When I come to Florida, like my brain changes.
All right.
You know, when I'm in Connecticut, it's like I'm by myself. I got the studio, I've got my little routine. I come to Florida, it's like Tammy's like, I get in the car with her. She's like, I'm just gonna stop somewhere. Then we're gonna go here. And then we went for a walk on the beach. And then she goes, all right, we're gonna meet the kids. We're gonna go grab something to eat quick. I said, all right, I got a call with Drew at 7. I gotta make this call. I'll get you back. We're good. We gotta make one more stop. I'm like, all right. And then I was like, pull the computer out. I don't even check if it's charged. You know, it's like you just go. You're in overdrive.
But I don't know how much of this be edited out, but like it's just real life though.
I probably won't edit any of it, man. I don't care. It's like this is, I'd rather it be real because,
Yeah.
one thing that we've always said, and I know I've always tried to say, especially when I'm speaking, Steve Judson's not perfect. People want to come to my office and follow, and they want to ask questions. And they want to put you on a pedestal. I'm like, look, don't put me on a pedestal. What I've
Yeah.
seen happen to many leaders is they put them on a pedestal and they expect them to be perfect. And
Hmm.
they get close to them and maybe they heard them curse, or they watch them drink a beer, or they, get into an argument with their wife and they're like, oh, wait a minute, they're human.
Hmm.
And then it kind of like they start judging them. I'm like, dude, I'm human.
Yeah.
Like I tell people all the time, going to chiropractic school. I was telling this guy today because his son may want to go to chiropractic school, but he struggles with science. I said, if I could do it, anyone could do it. If it's
Yeah.
meant to be, if God wants you to be a chiropractor, I got through,
Yeah.
right? I wasn't, we just learned Sierra's like in the top 10% of her class in college right now. I'm like, that was not Steve.
No.
God bless you,
No.
baby. So, the fact that, okay, the computer wasn't charged, like this podcast, what is it, not as professional? Dude, we want to just give a raw freaking message to wake people up
Yeah.
to true passion and principle and realize we're all the same. All the shit we've done in our life, others could do as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And like if people saw where I grew up, um, they would be like, damn, you've done all right. You've done all right. You know,
Yeah.
and and that's the thing. Like none of us have our act together. We're just we have an idea fixe. We have that something, and we're
Yeah.
just trying to tell everybody else about that something.
And that's it. And people just got to find their something and their word and their story. It's like,
Yeah.
don't underestimate the influence that you could have on someone else's life.
Hmm.
Your voice matters. Like the gentleman I was talking today, in high school was living in his car and no one knew it
Yeah.
until one day he just snapped and his football, he said something and he went off on his football coach, like, I can't do this anymore. Football coach sat him down, said, hold on, made a phone call, and then got him some help. And it changed the entire course of his life. Like you would look at him now and he's married and he's got a kid and he's an awesome dude, but he has a heck of a past. And today
Yeah.
it was just we sat there talking about it for 45 minutes, which was wild.
Yeah. And it just like it'll make me cry with just gratitude for their life of where they're at.
Yeah.
Like I know a guy that when he was growing up, he was a couple of years older than me. They would go catch little birds, like little wrens or warblers or whatever, and eat them.
Eat them?
That, yeah.
Wow.
But I mean, growing up hard, like not like, hey, you gotta, not play basketball anymore because we gotta work in the field. Not that, like whatever. That's easy. We were not hungry,
Hmm.
but like catching birds, wild birds out there with your hands to try to cook and eat, you
Well,
know.
I mean, I guess it's hunting. They were hunters.
Yeah. And now you would never know it, but and he's doing so good and proud of him. And it's just, people have had hard lives that we don't even know about.
No, no. And that's why, I'll have talks with my front desk girls in the whole office that I hope this is not a job, a job to you. I hope you could be on a mission because you never know what someone's going through that walks through that front door.
Yeah.
I remember once we
Yeah.
had a young girl working for us, and she would be like, "Oh, this person's a pain in the ass. Oh, this person's annoying. Oh, this person smells." And then I said, "Honey, those are the people we want.
Yeah.
Those we want to help them. Like, they start getting clear, and and then you see them start changing, and they're like, "How does this work?" And I said, "Because they
Yeah.
fall in love with themselves.
Yeah.
Their life changes." I said, "We all have shit from our past." And I've said at DE, you got doctors in the crowd that are wearing, nice outfits from, Abercrombie or Lululemon, and they spend tons of money in their clothes and they look good, but they're hurting
Yeah.
and they're there to learn something. They're scared. They want to be successful. They don't know what success is. They're trying to pay the bills. And I'm like, if you start from a place of just serving people and finding a loving heart that you could transform their life, all else
Mhm.
follows.
Yeah. And if we're smart and pay attention, we'll let them transform our lives too.
Wow. Yeah. I
You
mean,
know, like this one guy, man, like for a long while, we never got along. It was just like all the time. He kept coming back. I kept clearing him out. He's kind of rubbing off on me now. I almost like him. You know what I mean? And I
yeah.
don't know if I've changed, if he's changed, or if we both have and just kind of meeting in the middle.
Yeah. Well,
You know?
someone said to me once, sometimes when you see something in someone else you don't like, it's something that you don't like about yourself. Something
Hmm.
along those lines. And I'm like, well, I don't smell, but their smelling doesn't annoy me,
Hmm.
right? What annoys me is I want them to not smell and want to take care of themselves so they can have a better life. But they're not a bad person. My perception is they smell. They may not have a perception they smell. They think they smell great,
Hmm.
you know?
They love their natural musk odor.
Yeah.
It's just musk. That's all it is musk.
Yeah, I tried one of those natural rock deodorants one week. That
No,
lasted about 3 days. I'm like, man, no.
no, no. Gillette, Cool Wave, whatever. Like that's the only thing I'm using.
Gillette Cool Wave.
Yep, I don't get anything else. It don't work. Trust me.
Uh, uh,
Trust me.
I remember talking to Kate when he was young and he started to grow up. I said, look, one life advice is just never smell.
Yeah,
Go out in public, you smell good, brother. Smell good.
that's right. Smell good. But it is like if you can smell all right
Yeah,
and not stink and just be courteous, be
yeah,
nice, you know, you will go a long way just looking in their eye, shaking their hand,
that's
you
right.
know, happy to see you.
Where'd you learn that from?
DE, Dr. C.D. Williams,
Yeah,
happy
brother.
to see you. And we say that and I don't mean to, but I'll change my voice with patience when I say that. But it's just that happy to see you.
You're in the
I don't
moment.
know. Yep, it's just in there, man.
You're in the moment.
Yep,
I remember being
over and over.
at DE one morning and it was kind of chill in the room. And he walked in, stepped in for a second, looked around, and then he went around the room and shook every single person's hand
Yeah,
before he got up on the stage.
yeah.
I mean, people were like, wow, he's going to shake. And the whole energy just shifted.
Yeah.
Knew he picked up on the energy. And innately, he's like, I'm going to be the greater energy. And I'm going to shift this room by my actions.
Hmm. Yeah.
Deep
And
message.
wouldn't you love to do that now? Saturday night when you go up,
I
AC/DC still playing, and you just shake every hand. Um,
don't
and
know.
and I probably would if people didn't think that I was just mocking him. You know.
It's funny because Jamie, one of her favorite songs is TNT now, right? Because that's what they
Hmm.
introduced me to. And it was one of my kids said, like, what are you thinking about when you're walking up and they're playing that? I said, you know what? I wish I could come from behind the screen and just walk right up.
Hmm.
I wish it could be like, all right, Steve's here, talk. When they start announcing and start saying, I like, and everyone's looking at you. That's a rough moment for me, bro.
It is for me too.
You
It
know?
is. It's Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. We'll talk to Rando. We'll see if we can shoot you up from the stage floor.
Come out of the floor.
Yeah, boom.
I tell you, I'm looking forward to this meeting, man. I heard we have a heck of a crew signed up. Kat was telling us, and I've talked to
Yeah.
a couple speakers. They're fired up.
Hmm.
There's a lot of things going on in our profession right now, and people are just really stepping up and excited to take part.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
And we need people to take part. Like there's a lot of work to be done. And if you want to make a difference,
yeah,
sign up. There's not a sign up sheet, but just show up
yeah.
and show out, be loud, and get some stuff done. Like this is 2025. We can't play small anymore. It's time.
It's our time. Well, I love and appreciate you, buddy. I'm looking forward to October. And I've got some ideas to have some guests. If anyone listening, you have ideas that we could have some powerful guests to bring on here to bring a message to the world, go ahead and DM us. You know where to find us. But until
Yep.
then, we love and appreciate you. And thank you, everybody, for the support. God bless you.
Yep. Love y'all.